So for everybody who doesn't know, let's make this a tiny lesson for everybody while we're doing it. There are 3 ways to get paid for your services. Here we go. And the analogy I like to use is a car. There are actually 3 ways of buying a car. You can pay cash, just like this. Like, hey, I want to buy that. Actually, I drove a Honda Civic for 3 years, so let's just go with Honda Civic. It's my favorite car, to be honest. The Honda Civic, like, park it anywhere, doesn't matter, parts are cheap. You can pay cash, pay $20,000, it's yours forever. You can lease it, which is literally, hey, I'm going to be paying X dollars per month for the next 3 years, and then you get to take it back when I'm done with it. Or you can pay as you go. And this is really taxi/Uber. There's 3 ways to pay for car. All cash, great, yours forever. You can do month to month, and ultimately when you're done with it, the provider takes it back. Or pay as you go, which is taxi or Uber. Either one is fine. It's the same exact way with an agency. If you're paying cash for a car and it's yours forever, you can have an installation service. Like that. If your client is like, hey, I just want to lease your services, and when I'm done, I don't want to use them anymore, that's called a retainer. Cool. And then there's the pay as you go, which is effectively pay per show. Now, most agencies, including me, mine, and my culture and communication style in this group in this video, we're very, very familiar with retainer services right here. A retainer service is like, hey, if you want to use us, we'll do everything that we can. We'll have a good time, and we're going to be charging you X dollars per month, usually between $1,000 and $2,000 per month. Mostly $1,500 is a generally agreed upon number. Cool. Some agencies are less familiar with what's called an installation service. Like, hey, Mr. Johnson, look, I know you don't want to be paying me month after month after month. I get it. You just want us to install everything, give you the scripts, the documents, give you the books, and say, good luck, see you later, bye, right? That's an installation service, somewhere between $3,000 and $5,000. Not that big of a deal. As a coincidence, it's usually more than 3 months of your retainer. That's usually like the ballpark or the rule of thumb. And then finally, there's the pay per show, which is kind of like your Uber, your taxi, where you're only paying as you use it. Interesting. I, for context, have the least experience with the pay per show. I've done retainer models a million times. I've done installation services where like I can charge $1,000, undercut everybody, have my VA install everything, 15 minutes, we're done, have 90% margins, peace out, say you later, goodbye. I charged $5,000 or $10,000, sometimes $15,000 for installation services where they get everything. Yeah, super fast. But pay per show, that's brand new. So here's how pay per show breakdown in dollars. That's probably the bad title. It's not a good title. So let's do this. Let's call it different types of pay per show. Just like you can have different types of pay-as-you-go cars, you can taxi or Uber, something like that. Well, there's different types of pay per show. Depending upon how right or wrong you want to be, how aggressive you want to be, and how much risk you want to have. That's it. So there's a pay per show, which is upfront build fee. And we manage your budget, and we get paid when you get a show. So the upfront build fee could be $3,000 to $5,000 to come on board. You build out everything. We manage your budget of X dollars per month, and our only payment or salary is when you get a show up. Just like that. What I decided to do unknowingly was take a much more aggressive process, which is probably not going to work out, but hey, you know what, let's just try it anyway, where no upfront build, we front the ad spend, and get paid when you get a show. And I was like, wow, this is like how a pay per show is supposed to work. And then I talked with Anthony, he's like, no. I was like, oh crap, I already committed to this. We're going to do it anyway and see what happens. I happen to have lived a very financially conservative life where I've got enough cash in the bank to take risks, and I'm willing to lose or risk X dollars to see if this is going to work. What's interesting, the client that wants a pay per show, they tend to be much more aggressive with sales and have a much more marketing friendly mindset. They literally know that if they just get somebody in the door, there's only a matter of time before they make a sale. They've done their numbers. They know that they need 5 people sitting in the office, sitting in the chair, having the conversation on the phone before they get a $2,000 sale. And they're going, okay, what do our numbers look like? If we spent $500 to get those 5 people sitting in the chair and we sell one person for $2,000, we made $1,500, life is good. That is strikingly different than the clients that want a retainer, which tend to be much more passive with sales and have a much more small business owner mindset, which is if somebody comes in and they don't buy, I've lost time, I've lost emotional effort, I've lost emotional energy. Most times the clients that agree to retainers are much more passive with sales and a much small business owner mindset, which is they run many hats. And if somebody's on the schedule and they don't show up, then I've ruined all this time and I've lost everything. I'm disappointed. Like they have a sassy attitude and shit like that. These are the clients that I want. I want a client that's aggressive with sales and a marketing friendly mindset, and a pay-per-show really lines up with that. As it turns out, when you do pay-per-show agreements and pay-per-show advertising and pay-per-show models, you get the type of clients that are willing to spend $50,000 or $100,000 a month. Really fast. Like really, really fast, which I think is pretty cool. Our client that agreed to a pay-per-show told us the following. I want to grow from 10 locations to 20. Just like that. He told us, I want to find an agency that can support it, and I want to pay you to do it. Cool. Super fast, super easy, everything is kosher. Let me just check this real fast. Okay, cool, we're good. I want to pay you to do it. This guy has agreed to pay us $250 per show, which is actually a lot higher than the running average for the pay-per-show models and agreements in our target industry and our target businesses. Cool. In fact, it's double. In fact, he originally said, I want to do $150 per show. I said, to do that, I'm going to have to charge you an upfront fee to build everything. He said, I don't want that. I just want to pay as people come in. I said, all right, $250 it is. $150 was already at the top, and now he's paying $250. So we just need X number of people coming in, would be jumping up and down. This, again, is the highest level of marketing and performance, which is we literally own everything up to when they sit down in the chair. It's like one step away from actually owning our client. As in forward integration, as like if you're selling bikes, if you're a marketing agency for bikes, you might as well own a bike shop and sell the bikes. Same thing. We're one step away from that. So our client agreed to do a pay per show and signed some paperwork, and here's what's going to happen. We're taking on 7 locations, all within the same geographic area. So the client's not in Miami, but let's just say that they were. We'd have one in Coral Gables, one in South Miami, one in Kendall, one in downtown, one in Brickell, and one in Edgewater, one in Wynwood. It's like that. They're all within like 10 miles or so. We're going to take on all 7 locations, do a generic Facebook business page, advertise from it, plus follow up, plus all the leads, and confirm appointments. That's what we're doing. Now, in terms of rollout, the first chunk of locations should be up and running Friday. And then over the weekend, I'm going to be spending a whole lot of money on ads, and we'll know if it works within 2 weeks or so. The biggest hanging chad here is, will the client be paying? And I said, look, Mr. Johnson, we're going to have to do this every 2 weeks. We get on the phone and balance out the books. So at the most, I miss out on 2 weeks of costs. And this is 90 days. And after that, we'll look at the numbers. He says, you got it. The cool part about this is if we do anything other than a great job, as in like, if it's excellent, okay to shitty, I now have a case study where I can walk around town and be like, hey, I had a target client with 7 locations. We ran a pay-per-show deal. Here's proof. Do you want to do this for you? And we already know the numbers. And it's a super expensive location too. So I'm pretty psyched about it. And the only thing that I'm antsy or frustrated about is why isn't it live already? Which is how, I don't know where the book is, but how visionaries or entrepreneurs think and work of like, oh, it should be done already. Yeah, I want it now. Now would be good. Okay, now type of feeling. But it's going to be pretty darn cool going through this motions. And I feel just as excited about this as when I signed my first retainer deal. If somebody paid me money, I'm like, oh my God, he paid me $3,000. Holy crap. And then I grew to 10. Here's what's fun. The dollars behind pay-per-show are massive. Like effing massive. Like this client that has 7 locations and paying us $250 per show. And I know what you're going to say is like, but what about the numbers and the dollars and the cost? I hear you. I'm just going to focus on top line, focus on revenue for me and my agency to make this conversation easier. I'm not going to break down all this stuff. Just stick with me at the top line. Be visionary entrepreneurial for a bit. Client has 7 locations paying us $250 per show. Cool. So let's just say we get 4 shows per location. 7 times 4 times 250. 7 times 4 times 250 is $7,000. Cool. Is that per week? Per month? I don't know. But that's going to be pretty darn cool. The dollars are massive. And like I mentioned before, the clients that want a pay-per-show are much more aggressive and much more marketing friendly. And he has said to me by phone and by text message, he wants to get to a point where he is spending $10,000 to $20,000 per location. What? What? Now that's an agency with 1 client. Imagine how many clients you would need to make $140K a month. You need 140 of them, plus all of the account managers, plus all the ifs, ands, or buts. And here I am, I've got a client that's like, hey, Jeff, I'm prepared to pay you guys $140,000 a month if you can perform. Why don't I just focus only on that? That's going to be cool. Even if this thing bombs and we only get 3 people showing up a week. Okay, cool. So 3 times $250 is $750 times 3, which is a $3,000 account. Cool. That's still more than I would make from most of my retainer models. And now we've teamed up with a partner that wants to grow. Now here's the kicker. It's not 700 to 140, because that's where he is now. He has 10 locations. He's giving us 5, 6, or 7 or something like that, but he's got 10. So assuming we get all 10, 70 to 140, but he really wants to get to 20 locations. A $3 million a year client. I know he's going to negotiate down. I know there's costs. This is revenue. Don't talk to me about details. I'm not there yet. But these are massive numbers. And when I look at the people that I admire and what they're doing and how they're doing it, they moved from free trial and curious student to retainer. And then they moved from retainer to pay per lead or pay per show. They just kept moving forward. The offered treadmill, they just kept moving forward. And if I ever felt like buying it downtown, be like, hey guys, I know how to generate enough customer opportunities, patient opportunities where I could buy a franchise, forward integrate, and have a good time. So I don't know what the ad spend will be like per show. I don't know the details of this. I don't know anything. We're going to see what happens. And to give credit correctly to Anthony Mann, he approached me by PM. He was like, yo, dude, I think you're doing it wrong. I was like, I agree with you. I do. I think I did it wrong. What I should have done is have some type of upfront build fee, or we manage your budget and we only get paid when you get a show. I hear you. And I'm going to commit. I said, let's try it. I'm willing to see what's going to happen. And like I mentioned before, I've got enough cash in the bank to experiment a little bit. If this guy screws me over for $5,000, all right, whatever. Who cares? I could just go to somebody else and be like, hey, we were doing a pay-per show model with this client who had like 7 locations. He tried to screw me 6 ways from Sunday, had to exit it out. You look like a business that has multiple locations. I want to run the same thing for you. The way it's going to work is you're going to pay us to build it and we manage your ad spend. The only way we get paid from that point forward is if you get a show up. What do you say? So that is the basic rundown. Again, how you get paid for your services, just like buying a car, leasing a car, or taxi or Ubering a car. You can get the same thing all the way through. I think what I'll do is I'll clip this and put it into like a little video area and see if people are interested in like behind the scenes of it and ultimately take it from there. So that's kind of it for this mini lesson. Again, pay per show I think is pretty darn cool. If this works the way I intend, we'll probably have super conservative small business owners on a retainer and then super aggressive clients on a pay per show deal or a pay per lead deal. After we get done with this client, we'll probably be a little bit less aggressive and manage their budgets for an upfront fee plus pay per show, and we'll see what happens. I know there's ifs, ands, or buts on like, how do you track shows? I'll call the leads myself. Doesn't have to be automatic. I don't have to hide behind tech. I've got a phone. Call the leads. Hey, it looks like you scheduled an appointment to walk in on blank, blank date. Just want to check in. How did you go? Oh, you did. And you talked with blank person. Okay, great. Thanks so much. I'm just from the quality assurance department, making sure your experience was great. Thanks so much. Showed. Yeah. I feel like I'm the only agency person out there trying to not hide behind technology. Everyone else is running around town trying to make this perfect. I'm like, hey, if it's halfway broken, it's halfway fixed. Let's just put some manpower behind it. So I hope that answers all of your questions about the pay per show, which is really darn cool. And I think that's it, unless there's any additional questions or anything like that.